All right, we're going to get into today's price action. I took one long and I was stopped out. I'm going to go through the two other trades that I had lined up or that I was looking at. Unfortunately, this bounce trade here, I missed it. Um, you know, I was waiting for I was waiting for a little more confirmation, but here on the 3 minute chart, there was enough for it to then shoot up. So that's unfortunate, but yeah, so this trade I lost 5 points and £160 on the stop loss. There it is. That is now still within my 2% per trade. Now that I've deposited some more cash into this account. So it's the same amount of risk, it's just a bit more capital. But yeah, let's get into what I was looking at today. So we had the London high and the high here. That was the main draws, at 8 o'clock, drew out the 15-minute candle here. I note that there was also, the PM low from yesterday and the previous daily low as well, which you can see is this red line / white line here. Pretty much my mistake was today, I placed the limit order as I needed to in line with the model, but my mistake was today, we had two draws here, as well as two draws here. So unfortunately, price just came to limit tad early and, got manipulated out during the open, and then, yeah, price then returned in the correct direction. So if we go into, well, that was pretty much the main stuff that I was looking at in terms of the draws. Price swept the London low here as well, so that was another reason for my bullish bias, especially because of the fact we broke out bullish here and then traded back down. But if we note, pretty much, I think it was on the 5 minute. Yeah, so it was this initial break, and then, price respected the top of the zone and then went straight to TP. So I was a bit conscious of this, but we saw like a nice gradual sell-off to the midpoint, and yeah, I was targeting 3 to 1, and just got a bit unfortunate. So it's just one of those, you take losses with the model, and it is what it is. So as you can see, I had price moved up already from midpoint. If no retest before 10, no trade. So if price continued to come up and then came down towards by 10, then I wouldn't have taken a trade today. And I had my limit order. It tapped me in at 922 and I was stopped out at 929. So yeah, just a tiny bit too early. I don't really need to place a limit order that early, but it is what it is. So we move on. Did what I needed to, but the market context remains important. As you can see, these lows got swept and price just immediately moves in that direction straight away. In terms of the higher time frame context, if we just remove that on the hourly, yeah, probably not going to come down here. Taking these, and there's just this cluster of lows here by the previous daily low, so it makes a lot of sense for price to want to go there and then go back up the other way. And yeah, we just learn from it from here. So I made this note here: it's all good being correct, but the timing needs to improve to see results, because this is true. Like in the last couple of weeks, I've been fairly correct in the direction that price is going, but in terms of my timing of my trades and my execution, it is still off a little bit. So for example, like with this bounce here, price came down, tapped this low, traded up a bit, then wicked the other low below that, and on the 1 minute, you can see all of these candles sort of, they're all closed above this bottom low. So ideally the entry should have been here for 3.08 to 1, and that would have lined up nicely with the there was a 5 minute fair value gap right on the midpoint here, which would have been lovely as a target. And yeah, it's just unfortunate. So just goes to show there is still opportunities. I also lined up as well at the time, but I didn't take it just because, you know, price had already run up and taken both of the draws that I was looking at. And it was a short trade. So it would be on the same basis of this bounce, but it would have been the rejection instead. So if we put that around here, and then what was that? Can move that across for now. And then, you know, 58, let's do 5 points. So 6-3, let's just go like that. And then target a 3 to 1. If we go into the 1 minute, you can see price begins to reject from this level after taking those lows, those highs even. And we eventually get this sell-off back down into this fair value gap and back to the midpoint, which quite ironically, you know, I have my notes being if no retest before 10, no trade. And literally at 10 o'clock, price retested the zone, 10 o'clock candle exactly, and then continued up. So yeah, there were three setups today that could have been done. One of them would have been the initial one just a bit later on. And yeah, it's one of those. We come back tomorrow and improve. It's one of those. So I think, yeah, tomorrow we've got Trump speaking very early in GMT. So 2 a.m. that'll be around the Asia session. So, you know, might not trade tomorrow, might still have a look, but could be the case that we see an expansion on the week. You know, we've got the weekly opening gap here. Wouldn't be surprised if the price trades back up into that and then continues up. But yeah, that's going to be me for today. What I'm going to do is actually, we're going to remove all the drawings off the chart. So we'll start with a clean chart tomorrow. And yeah, we'll see how we go from there.